Okay, now if we were sitting in class, I would be handing out the syllabus or asking you to pull it up on your computer and we'd go over it together just so you can have a chance to ask questions. I can point out some of the important parts, all that sort of stuff. Since we're not in class, I'm going to do this virtually for you. So the way that you find the syllabus is you click on the syllabus link here from the front page, and then you've got a place where you can download the syllabus. I also have all the stuff sort of pasted in here so you can read it whenever you want, or you can download the PDF syllabus on Howdy or from the email I sent you. So there should be a variety of ways that you get this. Okay, now this syllabus, you are in Ento 208, the honors course. That means you have an extra assignment to do in order to pass this class. You actually have to do some research this semester in order to earn your honors credit. Okay, now this honors course is the 200 section. So you should see that on Howdy. And you should have gotten a couple of emails from me saying, hey, you're in honors, just to make sure. So make sure you check your official student email so that you know what's going on. Okay, so here's the basic course information. The time is not applicable. We don't have coordinated meeting times for this class. Instead, it's all on your own schedule. There are certain due dates throughout the semester, but you get to do what you want to do here. I set it up this way. So everything is open on day one. Once you go through this intro quiz or this intro module, everything else will open up, and then you can decide how much you want to work on this class each week. This becomes really important as the semester wears on and you start getting more and more, exams on the same week in other classes, or maybe you have practice, or you have extracurricular activities, or you have to go out of town, or you get sick, or, a bunch of stuff happens. If I do it this way, it means that you don't have to worry about getting a doctor's note or getting all manner of excuses set up in order to actually do the work you're supposed to do and learn what you want to learn. Instead, you can just take a week off if you need to, as long as there's not a podcast or other hard deadline set. You don't have to log in if you don't want to, and you can catch up the next week. I do, at the end of this syllabus, have a suggested schedule for you just to keep you on track. And throughout the semester, if I notice that you haven't logged in for a while, I will be emailing you and just checking in to make sure you're all right, if you need anything, that sort of thing, just to make sure you're on task. Because I know that it's really easy to sort of forget that you're in a class that doesn't have normal meeting times. And it may not be ideal for people who are being forced to be in an online class if they don't want to be. So I'll be checking in just to make sure everybody's good to go. Now, this is a 3 credit hour class. This includes co-enrollment with Ento 209 with the lab portion of this course. So you have to be in both of them in order to get your full credit. So here's my details. My name is Dr. Adrian Brundage. You've already met me. My office is on it's on West Campus in Minibell Heap Center, room 404A. And this is my office phone number. I will answer if I'm there, if I'm in class or in a workshop or doing 1 million other things that I won't be there. My office hours are going to be on Zoom for the most part. If you happen to catch me in my office, you can walk on in, but so you check Canvas when things are there. Now, this is what we're going to be learning this class. I have designed this class for people who are going to be working in the animal sector in some way, or for people who are interested in how insects affect animals, that sort of thing. So I spent a lot of time talking with vets and animal care technicians and animal husbandry people and people who have a lot of pets and just really like them, whatever else. And I've tried to focus on those organisms that are most important when it comes to animal and human health. This way, you'll be able to leave this class, hopefully being able to basically ID just about any insect that is associated with your animals. And if there's something that you can't site ID, I'm trying to give you the tools to go and figure out what it is, how to control it, the economic and environmental importance, that sort of thing. So it's basically, I want you to come out of this class knowing a lot about these particular insects so that when you become a vet or a vet tech, or you work with your animal of choice and it gets some sort of parasite or it gets some sort of bite or a mosquito or something on it, you know what to do. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, so there's no prereqs for this course. You do have to be co-enrolled in 209 though, so you should have been able to do that. Here's the first link to that textbook. So you can click here to go to the textbook, or here's the direct link to our textbook. You can also buy this through the bookstore, but you'll get a little access card because this is fully online. So it's a digital textbook. Those access cards at the MSC, if they are back ordered, don't buy it because it'll take like 3 weeks to get to you. Just click on one of these links and buy it directly. Now, in order to do well in this class, you'll need some reliable equipment. So you're going to need a computer with high-speed internet access, your preferred web browser. I personally use Google Chrome, and it works pretty well. You might find that your web browser of choice, Canvas, doesn't play well with it for whatever reason. So there is a list of preferred web browsers on the IT website, on Texas A&M's IT website. Go there if you're having problems. They can also help you figure out what an issue is if you can't get on Canvas. Let's see, you will need speakers and headphones and working sound. Everything is in MP4 format, all the videos, and I have uploaded them to YouTube because that makes it a little bit easier for everybody to access the videos on whatever device you wish. So you can watch it on your phone, on your tablet, on whatever else. Okay. And now the course is designed to be mobile friendly. I have noticed though that just about everything except the exams work really well on mobile devices. Some people have been able to easily take exams on their phone, on their iPad, on whatever. Some people haven't. So I just put in there just to make sure, since you only have one shot at each exam, just to make sure, take it on a computer to make things a little bit easier on you. I mean, if you have to, I had somebody last semester sit in a hospital because their dad was sick and take it on their phone. And it worked. So whatever works for you. I just want to make sure you're aware of any possible issues. If you have a problem with your computer, if your internet access goes out, if you're like a student last semester whose car got broken into, their laptop got taken, if something is going on, I do have a link for you here. These are all the computer labs on campus. So they're designed to access Canvas very easily. They have beautiful internet access there. So if you have an issue with your home computer or your access, go to one of these labs. Get used to going there and you'll be able to take it. Now, this is a semester-long format, so this is a 15-week course. It's an online version of the in-person course. So we're going to cover the exact same things, all the same number of contact hours. When I say contact hours, this means the time that you're actually in class that I'm talking to you. It does not include things like doing your own work, studying, taking the exams, that sort of thing. So I have to meet a minimum number of contact hours in order for you to get your units. So that's why we use the word contact hours. Now, if we are having the in-person class during the semester, it runs concurrently at the same time. If we're not, this is the only version. It just depends on what's going on in the pandemic world. Now, this will include 28 hours of lecture. Okay, so those 28 hours of lecture are all video format for this online course. You'll have to watch those in order to get through this semester. Plus, there are 4 exams, 14 quizzes, 13 are unit quizzes, and 1 is an intro quiz. And then you have a podcast assignment. So each unit I have set up to approximately correspond with 1 week of class time. It should be very, very doable in a single week. Some are a little bit shorter, some are a little bit longer because I want to group together like organisms or information, but it's about a week of class time. So manage your time, make sure you know what's going on and when you need to have things done. Now, here are basic learning outcomes. So by the end of the semester, I'm hoping that you'll be able to define scientific terminology. You'll know the insect basic biology, natural history, evolutionary relationships. You'll really understand the economic importance of insects to animal health. So again, I have worked with a bunch of vets and vet techs and people who work with animals and asked them, what did you wish you had known going into vet school and opening your own practice? What do you wish you have known when you started working with cattle or horses or sheep or chickens or whatever? What do you wish you had known before you had adopted these dogs and cats? And I've added that into the class for you. I'm trying to make this as useful as possible for you. I also want you to be able to understand how those insects actually impact your animal's health. So if they get a heavy flea infestation, how bad is it? If they're bitten by different mosquitoes, should you worry about it or shouldn't you? If they've got ticks on them, should you just take those ticks off and not worry about it? Or do you need to keep those ticks and go get them tested for different diseases? So I'm trying to give you those tools by the end of the semester. And then finally, I want you to be able to recommend prevention and control of these insects and critically evaluate the current information on insect pests of veterinary importance. This is a really mutable subject. there's a lot of changes happening. We get invasive species. We find new pesticides. We find that certain insects are used to certain pesticides that we relied upon. All manner of things are constantly changing. Even the basic names of some of these insects are changing. So you'll hear me talk about that a little bit later on in the semester. So I want you to be able to evaluate as new info comes out, is this reliable information or not? Or is that thing that your aunt sent you on Facebook, is that BS or not? That'll happen a lot. All right. Now, the basic class procedure, everything is totally online. We do not have concurrent meetings in this class. You don't have to log in at a certain time and watch a live Zoom or anything like that. Feel free to log in and talk to me on my office hours. That'll be great. But yeah, we don't have concurrent meeting times at all. You do need a computer to access everything. Everything is as mobile friendly as I could possibly make it. So hopefully it works. If it doesn't, you'll need a computer. So no coordinated meeting times. All the lessons are on in video format, MP4 format. So they're all videos and they're all available right now. Now you do need to complete this first unit and or the first module and get a 90% or better on that introductory quiz, that module quiz, in order to open up the rest of the class. So right now, you probably don't see anything at all. You just need to take that quiz and earn 90% or better. I've said that twice now. Let's say it a third time, 90% or better. Whenever you hear me repeat something more than once, the likelihood that it's going to be on a quiz is super high. So I've just said 90% or better 3 times. Keep that in mind. Now, the lab, you do need to be in Ento 209, which is the laboratory section of this class. So the labs and the lectures, I tried to group them together as much as possible. You might be a little bit ahead in the lectures, a little bit behind in the labs, or vice versa, but they do go hand in hand. So I'll be teaching you all the theory, all the vocab, all that sort of stuff that you'll need in lab in the lecture portion. So make sure that you do both of those things. Okay, again, the textbook quizzes at the end of each chapter. You're going to take a textbook quiz. So when you watch the video on the textbook, I'll show you where those are at. But there's about 10 questions at the end of each chapter that I've written for that chapter. So this just shows me that you understand the basic concepts. I'm trying to pull out the most important things for you. And then these same questions are going to show up again on your module quizzes and then again on your exam. So you can retake these textbook quizzes, hopefully, but write down those questions because you're going to see them again. Then at the end of each unit or module, it's going to end with a module quiz. So these quizzes are going to cover materials that you learn through the video lessons and through your assigned readings. The good news is that the quizzes are open note, open book, but they are timed. So you can take these quizzes as many times as you want. I'm going to keep an average of the submitted quiz grades. So if you want to take it 100 times, do it. Go for it. The way that I come up with these questions is every time I write a lesson or I write a chapter or whatever else, I sit down and I write as many multiple choice questions as physically possible. You're going to hear me say this a few times because I want you to know. And then I put them in a question pool. When you open up your quiz, it's going to pull from all the question pools that are associated with that module or with that unit. And each time you take that quiz, it'll pull a new random selection of those questions. So the more times you take the quiz, the more likely it is you're going to see all of the questions that I've written for it. Then those same quiz questions that I've written, I will turn into fill in the blank questions for the exams. Here's a quick tip. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to writing these questions. I don't want to work really, really hard trying to turn a difficult multiple choice question into a fill-in question. So if there's a quiz question that you run across that you think would be really hard to turn into a fill-in question, I likely didn't do it. If, however, there's something like a vocab word that you can easily see how I turned it into a fill-in question, you can pretty much guarantee that I did that. And some of these multiple choice questions I've written in a way where I can easily take away the multiple choice and just ask you to fill in the blank. So you actually see fill in the blank in a multiple choice question. Oh yeah, you're going to see that on the exams. Okay, so again, now I'm hoping that you'll be able to review your quiz questions at the end at any point. However, I have heard from some students that it's hard to pull that up. So I've put here in the syllabus, make sure that, assume you can't see it again. So once you see your quiz questions, go ahead and screenshot it, write all those quiz questions down, do whatever you need to do to keep your notes up to date so you know the correct answers. And so, that way, if for some reason I can't let you get back in to see those reviews, you're prepared. So I just want you to know that has been a problem in the past. You're supposed to be able to see it at any point, but you know how computers work sometimes, or how some of these things are set up. It might not happen. So be aware. Now, all the quizzes are open now, and they would need to be finished by the last minute of the last day of finals week. That's 11:59 p.m. on the last day of finals week. So if you want to wait and do them all at once, do it. Be prepared, though, that the second that 11:59 p.m. hits, everything's going to close down. So be careful. Now, there are a few known problems with taking online quizzes. The biggest one is when a bunch of people try to take them all at once, then the system can crash. So if you think about it, you're one person of almost 800 or so students that are going to try to be accessing all this information. Make sure that you leave enough time. If the quiz crashes, or if your internet goes out, or if your page refreshes or something like that, it's going to automatically submit, and you're going to end up with a really low grade. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you know how the quiz is going to work, all that sort of stuff, that sort of thing, and that you give yourself plenty of time. If you try to take it in the last few minutes of the last day of finals week, be aware that other people are going to do the exact same thing, and it might crash. Now, because that is so late at night, I will be available until 5 p.m. on that last day of finals. After that, I'm turning off my email. I'm turning off my phone. I'm not going to be on Zoom. I'm going to go play video games and take a nap, because I'll be up for the rest of the night entering all your grades and double checking everything. So if you have a problem after that, you can't get a hold of me. So good luck. Make sure you take it early. It's basically what I'm saying. Now, I do write a bunch of questions for these quizzes, and that does mean that I make mistakes sometimes. And again, I'm dyslexic, so I do a lot of copy and pasting. Make sure that if you enter in the correct word, Canvas doesn't let me allow for misspellings. So it's an either spell it correctly or don't. That's why I've left on the copy and paste. So you can have a Word document open and have it spelled correctly based on the textbook and the lectures and all that sort of stuff, copy and paste it into the quiz, just so you can make sure that it is, or the exam, make sure it's spelled correctly and all that, and make sure you get the correct answer. If you find a typo on the quiz, or if for some reason I've coded in the wrong correct answer, that happens sometimes, just let me know. No need to freak out. I'm not going to trick you on any of this. I'm not here to really mess up your grade. I'm just trying to make as many questions as possible. And so if you find a mistake, or you think you answered the right question, but it still marked you wrong, go ahead and click this link, and it'll take you to another form, just like the textbook error form or the contact Dr. Brundage form or whatever, and fill it out. Let us know. What quiz is it on? What number was it on your quiz? We'll go in and fix it for you, and you will earn those points. Don't worry. Or if you actually got it wrong for reals, we'll let you know that. But I'm not going to trick you on any of this. If there's a mistake, there's a mistake. Let me know and we'll fix it. Okay, so all of that is going on with the quizzes. Now the exams, again, are open note, open book. For the most part, they're fill in. There might be one or two multiple choice questions on there depending on the type of question, but for the most part, it's fill in. Now the exam is going to be based on material covered in the video lessons and the assigned readings over all of the stuff since the last exam. So this will be in one of the modules that you open up. It'll be right after your quiz. Say, take exam 1 or exam 2. So exam 1 will be everything from the beginning of class up through the end of that module you just finished. Exam 2 will be from the next module after exam 1, etc. Okay, now again, open note, open book. So you can have all your notes ready to go and do it. However, it is timed. So you have just a limited amount of time to take it. So be prepared. And it's designed to make sure that you actually know the information, rather than this is the first time you're trolling through a video or first time reading your textbook in order to find that information. I expect that you've watched all the videos, you've read the textbook, you've done everything in order to answer these questions. So, yeah. So you don't have enough time to go through an entire, 30, 40 lessons during the exam, but you have enough time. If you have most of them down, but there's a few that you just don't remember, you need to go look it up, you have time to do that. But be prepared. Okay, so the first 3 midterms are going to have 100 questions each, but they all fill in. Your final will have 200 questions, and it is cumulative, so it can pull from any one of those modules. Just make sure you keep your notes updated, and you'll be good to go. Now, Again, all of these exams are open now, and they will be due at the last minute, the last day of finals week. Everything is due then except the podcast. So speaking of that, here's the podcast. Now, your podcast assignment, this is something where you're going to choose the topic of your choice that has to have something to do with entomology. And it can be very, very lightly associated with it if you're super interested in something, but I want you to basically teach the world about entomology. Okay. Now, you'll see this again in the podcast video, but we have a podcast stream specifically for this course. If you earn an A or a B on your podcast by the end of the semester, your podcast will go on the podcast stream and the world will get to listen to it. So you can send it to your friends and family and put it on your resume and all manner of things like that. So your final podcast will be published and available to the public via SoundCloud. Now, there are 3 parts to this assignment. So your first assignment is your subject choice and literature search. So you have to go through and decide what you want to talk about, what you want to teach everybody about, and where to get that information. So I'll ask for like an outline, that sort of thing. The second assignment is a script. I do a lot of video recording, and let me tell you that even when doing a basic podcast, it is so much easier if you have a script. And this also allows me to go through and make sure that you're putting in the correct information. So if there's something where you found an old paper that we have since disproven or something like that, when I grade your script, I'll know exactly what you're saying about it, and I'll be able to give you a heads up. Or maybe you got down a rabbit hole, you found a bunch of stuff, but you missed a really important paper that just came out. So since this is my field of expertise, I tend to keep up with the current literature. So I can let you know, like, hey, by the way, this neat paper came out and it'll be really useful for you. So I can help you in that way, and I can make sure that everything is good to go. There. So you got your script. So this will be a word for word rendition, at least as much as possible, of what you're going to be saying in your podcast. The only thing that you don't have to put word for word is if you're going to interview somebody and you don't know what their answers are going to be. That's fine. Write down your questions, write down basic responses, what your other questions are going to be, and move on from there. And then the last and the major portion of this is your final podcast. So this is going to be an audio recording of you and anyone else you're working with that you will upload for grading. You'll also need to find an image that goes on your podcast when I upload it to SoundCloud, and some keywords so that people can search for it. So all those 3 things will be there. You will have in-depth information on this. I will go into this just in minute detail for you in another video and in the assignment module, all that sort of stuff. Now, you are in the honors writing assignment or the honors class version of this class, which means you have an extra massive assignment that you have to do. You need to do some research, and then you're going to write up this research project in a scientific paper and submit it for possible publication. If your research is good, then you will get published in an honest-to-goodness journal that you can then put on your resume. You are a published author. So you get some really cool stuff out of this. So make sure you do this well. This semester, you just need to figure out a simple project, an entomology-based research project. Now, I have a couple of ideas up for you already, just so you can see where I'm going there. And I have various videos up sort of teaching you how to run a project and how to write a paper and what to do. So all those videos are available for you. If you need a little bit more input, you can contact me or one of the TAs, and one of us will help you happily. You can drop by my Zoom office hours and talk to me about that. We have a very, very tiny budget for this, so I should be able to buy you a couple of things, but really not much. So that'll be the biggest challenge probably, is trying to figure out how to do this on the cheap as much as possible. If you are already working with a TA or a professor, or you're in a lab or something where you're running a project, you can use that and write it up. So there's a lot of things open for you. Now, if you do need help with your project. Let's say you want to do a survey, or you want to go and collect a bunch of stuff or something, and you need some help. You can ask for assistance from the non-honors section of this class. If you get volunteers, this will give them up to 50 points of extra credit. So you can put out a call. I will post it to the normal section with how to get a hold of you, how many people you need, whatever you need there. And then you can decide who helps you. Then at the end, I'll just ask you to say, how many points of extra credit do you think they've earned? And it'll be up to you to tell me. So up to 50 points. If they don't do the work that you ask them to do, you can give them a 0. That's fine. It's extra credit. You're managing the people. So you do have help in that way. I can also do the same thing. Like, let's say you want to fill out a form or a questionnaire and analyze that for your project. So I've had people in the past do that. I will happily post that to every single one of my classes and offer them extra credit for getting it done. I'll also post it in various social media areas. So you can get a lot of people, different cross sections of people. It just, depends. So the types of projects I've seen in the past, the ones that have done really well are probably the more simple ones because you don't get bogged down in a lot of issues. So I've had people do things like rearing mealworms on styrofoam because they read a paper saying that was possible. They wanted to see if it would work. I've had people test out different bug spray repellents or bug spray type of things. This came about because Victoria's Secret has a new perfume, or new-ish, I guess. It was a couple of years ago, perfume that some entomologists said worked in repelling mosquitoes. So I had people test it, and then they tested a few other perfumes. That was pretty neat. I've had people just do a simple survey of insects. I've had people go and find fire ants and do best way to kill fire ants. It's just that sort of thing. So again, I have a few ideas up for you just to give you an idea of what I'm looking for. You can go to the InStars journal where you're going to be sending this in for possible publication. There's a link on Canvas for you. And you can just check out what's been published in the past. That'll help you do that sort of thing. So there'll be more information under the actual honors assignment. So be prepared for that. Now, there are several chances for extra credit throughout this semester. There's a couple that are already up. The first and foremost one is finding any typos or mistakes in the textbook. I've talked about that during the textbook video. You can also volunteer in entomology. So if you want to, say, go and volunteer in the Entomology Museum, or you want to go give talks to students, or you want to create a series of videos that you post open for anybody for free online about different insects, whatever you want to do, you can do that. And you will earn up to 50 points of extra credit for doing this. So you'll earn 2 points per hour that you volunteer. And so up to 25 hours of volunteer time, as long as it has something to do with entomology in some way, it'll count. I will also be putting up various opportunities for extra credit. This usually happens when I have, maybe other honors students who want participation help. That'll count for some extra credit. If the university is looking for people to do outreach or to answer a survey or to help out in some way, that'll count for extra credit. So I'll be constantly updating those opportunities as I find them on eCampus. If you can't make one of those opportunities, you can go out and do this, make up your own volunteer. So all those opportunities will count towards these 25 hours of volunteer time, or you can go find your own. So all of that is up there. I've provided enough extra credit throughout this semester, where if you're on the edge of a grade, let's say you've got a B+ and you want an A, or B, you want an A, there's enough to get you from a B+ to an A. There's not enough to get you from a C to an A, but from a high B, sure. Or if you do badly on one quiz, or you bomb an exam because you were tired or sick or something, there's enough extra credit there to make up that. Not enough to make up the entire 1,300 points worth of class time, but enough if you just had a bad day. So I want to make sure that you get enough points for that. Okay, now here's all the grades that you'll be taking this semester. So the intro quiz is worth 20 points. It's very simple. You'll take it at the end of this module. You have 13 modules that will open up after that with an individual quiz at 20 points per quiz. You have all your textbook questions. The way that the textbook questions are going to work, you have 28 some odd chapters, 10 textbook questions at the end. I'm going to take a percentage. So let's say you got all of them right. You'll earn 100%, which means you'll earn 100% out of 100 points. So you get 100 points. If you earn, say, 95% or 50% correct on those textbook questions, then I'm just going to turn that into a percentage of 100 points. So if you earned a 95% overall, you'll earn 95 points. If you earn 50%, you'll earn 50 points. That's how it works. Then you've got your exams. And so 3 midterm exams and a final. The midterms are just the most recent modules, and the final is cumulative. Then here's your information for your honors project. Coming up with your research question, you'll have some due dates then early on in the semester. That's worth 10 points. The research protocol will be due pretty early on in the semester. I wanted to make sure that you have enough time to actually run your project, so that'll be worth 40 points. You'll have to turn in your data probably about a month after your research protocol. So you have about a month to get it done. And then your final research paper is worth 200 points overall. Okay, so it's a 300 point total project. So it's a substantial amount. So make sure you do well on that. Then you've got your podcast. So your podcast topic choice is worth 25 points. The script is worth 50 and the final podcast is worth 100. So this gives you a total of 1,375 points possible for this class. So if you don't do well on one single quiz, that's 20 out of 1,300 points. You're going to be fine. Don't freak out if you don't do well on one thing. There's extra credit. You can make it up. You have plenty of points to make it up. You're going to be fine. Okay. Now here's my grade procedure. I don't like giving pluses and minuses because there's no real way to make that up, especially in the A's. There's no real way to make up an A- with an A+. So I just like leaving whole grades. But between 90 and 100%, you'll earn an A. 80 to 89 is a B. 70 to 79 is a C. 60 to 69 is a D. And less than 60 is an F. So there you go. All right. Now, this class is designed to give you the maximum amount of time to get all your work done. So for late work, if it's one of those things that's due on the last day of finals week, there's literally no more time for me to give you because grades are due the next morning. So I've given you to the last second that I possibly can and still give myself a little bit of time to input grades. So keep that in mind. If for some reason you can't get your stuff done during the semester, you get really, really sick, or you have emergencies that you have to do, you might be able to request an incomplete or Q drop. So come and talk to me about that. We'll figure something out. For your honor stuff and for your podcast, if you have to turn in late, you need to have an excuse in order to be allowed to do that. So university approved excuse, there's links on eCampus for you, on Canvas for you for that. So make sure you double check that and then come and talk to me about it. You will lose points for late work. So keep that in mind. Just get stuff done. Now, here is my suggested course schedule. I have this set up for you based on weeks and based on what I've seen students in the past be able to get done in a single week. Now, since this is just suggested, you can change this around if you want to. I have it in an order where each module builds upon the previous one. So you'll learn something that you'll then need to use in the next module. So try to keep it in order. But, if one day you're just really interested in something that's a little later on, feel free to go and do that module. Sometimes you just want to learn about butterflies or something. Go and do it. Fine. You do have to do this first module, the introduction module first. And once you finish the intro quiz and you earn 90% or better on that quiz, go ahead and it'll open up the rest of everything. Okay, so this is the subjects that'll be covered each module. So we're going to start with the arthropoda, how to identify those, the different classes. I've got reading assignments for each module here. And remember that there are reading quizzes associated with that, apart from the about this book and a note for you. I don't have quizzes on just basic information like that. And then these are the assignments associated with that module. So the quizzes, the textbook quizzes, that sort of thing. Okay, now, the next week, we've got external anatomy. That's chapter 2. And then you've got your quiz and your textbook quiz. Then we go into internal anatomy, growth and development. And then you have your first exam. So it's going to be through these first 4 weeks, all these chapters, etc. So all of this stuff will be on that exam and it'll be fill in. Then we move into insect systematics and a bunch of Diptera stuff. Here's all your reading assignments and your quizzes. Then you got your exam 2. Then you got your third, basically, unit of learning. And we've got a few more flies sort of right there. You got glaucinity. And then we move into hemiptera and fleas and lice and ticks and mites. And then just other insects of veterinary importance that didn't quite fit into any one of these other order groups. You got your final midterm exam here, and then you've got your final exam. Notice that I don't have the podcast grades or anything in each week. This is because they have certain dates that they're due. And so if you're going a little bit off week here or off module on your own schedule, I don't want you thinking that, the podcast isn't due until I finish module 9 or something. So make sure you go into that, into Canvas and see when those things are due. I do have a to-do list for you up, so you should see that on the right-hand column of Canvas for you. All right. Now, just so you know how much time to plan, I have put in how long each one of these videos is. Notice that I don't have videos here because I'm still recording these. So on your copy of the syllabus, though, you should have these times in. So go in there and see how much time. This should help you plan your time. I try to keep the videos relatively short. In fact, this syllabus video is probably the longest one you'll hear this entire semester. Try to keep them between about 15 and 20 minutes. Notice one or two go a little bit over, but you'll see some that are only a few minutes long, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. Others that are a little bit longer, but this will give you an idea of, you got to listen to all 6 of these videos on ticks. Here's how you can do it. I want you to be able to listen to these things on like a break, on walking between classes, while you're driving somewhere, something like that. So you don't have to sit down for 3 hours at a time and listen to a massive amount of me talking. That just gets awful. So it's all there. So you can use that to plan your schedule. Now at the end here, we've got our normal university rules. So your attendance policy, you need to come to class, but again, it's on your own schedule, so you should be fine. Makeup work is all here. Don't cheat, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to cheat on an open note, open book exam, so I don't know, don't, I guess. Let's see. This is the American with Disabilities Act, the ADA policy. This is something I want to take a moment and talk to you about really quickly. I mentioned that I am severely dyslexic. I'm also severely anxious. I have anxiety like mad. And every once in a while, you get that normal depression sort of stuff. This is normal for everybody. And I'm really excited to be teaching a group of students that actually understands that mental health is important. It's been a long time coming. It's been in the many, many years that I've been teaching. You guys really understand that mental health needs to be taken care of just the same as your body. Now, the American with Disabilities Act states that I will accommodate you, whatever you need, and I will. Whatever you need, if you've got anxiety like me, or dyslexia, or you're scotopic, or you have one of the a million weird things that a brain decides to do to make it a little bit more difficult to learn, you just let me know. We do have a really robust support system on campus. So I've got the link for you here, disability.tamu.edu. So if you have a learning disability, especially, all I want to do is make sure you're on the same level playing field as everybody else. I don't want you to have to, crawl your way out of this learning disability hole and just to try to get on the same level as everybody, because that can be exhausting. And it was something that I went through. I wish I had been diagnosed with dyslexia when I was in grade school to college. I didn't get diagnosed until grad school, and it opened up a whole new world for me. It was amazing. But just a fun story. When I was in 5th grade, we had weekly spelling tests, and if we failed the spelling test, we'd have to go to detention that day. So we'd have them on Fridays. If we failed the test, we'd go to detention, and during detention, we'd have to copy the freaking dictionary. And I had detention every single week because I was dyslexic. So I was constantly flipping letters. I was constantly messing up spelling. And I honestly could not see the difference. My parents would be there trying to help me. My teachers would be like, why don't these letters are in the wrong order, but they look the same. I don't know. And that still happens. And it was so frustrating and awful. But, I just sort of lived with going to detention every damn week. And then in college, I'd get dinged for spelling errors all the time, even using word processing stuff. Reading was difficult, all that. Once I got to grad school and I figured it out, it made things so much easier. All I could think was, this is what everybody else has been able to do this whole time. Damn it. I curse a lot. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm just kidding. Okay. So, that was awful. So I don't want you guys to have to go through that. So if you think there is something that, you're just having too much difficulty with something, you can't read as easily as other people think, or, you're suffering with anxiety or depression or something else, tell me and we will work it out. The Disability Student Services will give you the resources you need. And please, please, please just let us know, because I don't want you to earn a bad grade simply because your brain decided to give you the wrong neurotransmitters. That's just obnoxious. That's like me asking you to, why can't you write with a broken arm? Just write. I don't have a broken arm. Why do you have one? So please go there, get the help that you need. If you think you need something further and you need a little bit of help finding the resources, I'm happy to help you. The TAs are happy to help you. Really, anybody on campus is happy to help. I have a whole bunch of links for you on Canvas that you can use in order to go and do this. Please, please, please do it. I just want you to be as successful as physically possible in this class. Okay, now, these Title IX statements, this is confidentiality. If you think that there's something going wrong, or if you've experienced something like harassment, racism, any type of sexual assault, anything at all, I'm a mandatory reporter. So that what that means is if there's something going down, I need to report it. And we will send it to the Title IX office, which will keep full confidentiality. If you want to report something, but you don't want to be involved or you don't want to press charges or whatever, we still have to go and make sure that this is a safe campus for you, no matter what happens. So we'll still do it, but we'll keep your information confidential. So let me know if something happens. Or let somebody know. If you're uncomfortable talking to me, talk to the TAs. If you're uncomfortable talking to the TAs, you can come to me and say, hey, I need to talk to somebody about something, and I will find you the contact information, or I have the links up for you. Please do it. So I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that you are safe on campus. The end. That's it. Okay, we do have some counseling services and stuff. So there's this link here for you that you can go. Here's some good information on mental health and wellness. Make sure you use that. And we've got some campus safety measures for COVID here for you. Huzzah. So all of this information is here for you. Keep all this in mind. I try to make this as available as physically possible, or if you need help finding it, let me know. All right, that's it for the syllabus. Let me know if you have any questions.